Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est un réel plaisir pour moi de prendre la parole ce jour au nom de l'association des professeurs, l'association nationale des professeurs d'anglais du Bénin, pour vous souhaiter la bienvenue à cette deuxième édition du sommet des clubs d'anglais du Bénin. Le 21e siècle est le siècle par excellence de la communication de la langue anglaise. Et la langue anglaise, bien entendu, en est le vecteur de premier choix. En effet, l'anglais s'est imposé aujourd'hui comme la première langue de communication internationale. De ce fait, sa bonne maîtrise est devenue une quête pour la plupart des nations de notre temps. Le soutien des autorités de l'université de Parakou, ainsi que la précieuse contribution des formateurs invités. Nous saluons la présence parmi nous des autorités politico-administratives. Nous remercions les leaders des clubs d'anglais qui ont fait le déplacement de Parakou, à qui nous souhaitons une participation active aux travaux de ce sommet. Vive le partenariat ambassade des États-Unis BIMTI, vive la promotion de la langue anglaise au Bénin. Je vous remercie.
I have some feedback from that exercise. Head, shoulders, mouth, nose, mouth. This is both a visual, kinesthetic, and auditory exercise. Okay? This is an exercise that we as teachers can use in a motivation phase of our lesson to gather motivation. Yes, very good.
Let me ask you, you want to pronounce well. You say, the attributes number one, listen and repeat. You say, listen and wait, repeat. Listen, look, listen and repeat. Very important.
Thank you. So gestures, hand motions. Very important. Do we have another example?
Yeah.
Yes. What does he mean?
I'm just adding on a little bit, but bringing more action into what you said.
Okay.
Is that this concept I learned in a YouTube video is just go like heads, listen toes, heads, listen toes, and down, low, eyes, heads, listen toes,
Pictures or we call them posters. How about you, man? You're hiding in your back. Here, as well. It's an informative or educational poster, yes? We're talking about food and health. Yes, here we have. Here we have meat and fish, yes? We have many things on one image. It's poster.
Congratulations.
Surprise! I need to do my lesson. I want to make a comment. So when we are in a classroom, many of us use the document. You know how on the first part of a learning sequence or learning situation, there is a page of pictures that some teachers go around and show the students because not all students have the document. I want you to know that sometimes it does not work very well because there are many students in a classroom, and if I only have one document, I go around. Every student wants to look very closely. It takes up a lot of time. So what I suggest is instead of using a document, you can use the document as a guide, as a reference. Take those pictures. Perhaps if you have the money, print out a large picture of each picture and put it on the board so your students can look. If you do not have money, you have trouble.
Yeah, draw.
Become an artist, okay? Become a good artist. And even if you are not good, it is okay. I cannot draw. I cannot draw at all. However, I take the chalk and I try. And I explain, okay? That way all the students can see together. And you can connect the visual, auditory, and movements all together when you are explaining. Does that make sense? And we want our students to work on their pronunciation. Sometimes it will be easier to go like this. Are you ready? Ready? Set. What is it? 1, 2, 3. Visual. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, when I put up the poster or the flashcard, are you reading the word or are you looking at the object? What are you doing? Some people both. However, if I go fast, what do you see first? The picture. That is why flashcards can be very important for visual learners, especially when you connect the visual effect to what you are saying. Okay? Visual. Auditory. Kinesthetic. Okay?
I was a DJ, so I knew how music can help us, well, as a teacher also, how useful music is to practice and remember language. However, I realized also that music, especially hip-hop music, the content was not the content my students most needed for the classroom, for tests, for jobs, right? Hip-hop English is special for hip-hop. It's not an everyday style. Exactly. Do you know this rapper, by the way? Who is it? No. No. Good guessing. No.
This.
Nas. Yeah. So I was a DJ and I went from DJing to graduate school to be an English teacher. And so after a few years of this problem in New York with my students not having the English, I mean students really, after 2 years, English every week, every day, in the week. I say, what did you do last night? Oh, I see a movie. Right? And the reason, again, is you can study irregular verbs. It's okay. That's studying. You can go out and use English, but you're not going to hear saw, right? You need that repetition so that, what did you last night? I saw a movie, right? You correct yourself. This comes from how much exposure, not from how much you understand, right? And you study. So I made this song. The song, some people think I always did in the classroom. It's actually completely the opposite. I wrote songs, this and other songs, to put on a CD for my students to listen at home, to practice at home. In the classroom, I was not the rapping teacher. In the classroom, I was like you, trying to do communicative activities, trying to get them to use English. But when they had the repetition from the song, then in the classroom, they could remember the grammar structures, the vocabulary, whatever the song was that I wrote. Then, because of YouTube, I started going to different schools, so traveling to do workshops in different countries. Let's see, this is France, Spain, Tunisia, I think Italy or France. And sometimes students at these events, they ask me, which countries have you visited? Or they say it with wrong grammar, so we practice present perfect. Which countries have you visited? Right? And this was a difficult question for me because I visited 21 countries to do my workshops, but I could never remember 21 countries when someone asked me, and I didn't want to forget a country. But now I can tell you. Do you know how I can remember?
No.
Do you have an idea maybe how it's possible to remember a list of things? Maybe with some rhythm, some rhyme. So, Tunisia, Mexico, Oman, Benin, England, and Jordan, the US, Italy, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Poland, Switzerland, Morocco, Israel, Greece, Spain, Macedonia, Belarus, Palestine, and Bahrain. Now it's funny because you think, oh, that's really great, but everybody in this room can do that. Yeah. It is not a special talent. What you need first is to understand the idea, but I think we all understand the idea of remembering with rhythm and rhyme. The second thing is motivation. For me, I was motivated to make this rhyme because my students asked me which countries. It was not to show them, look, my rhyme is so great. It was, I really wanted this information. That's so important, to have an interest in it, right? So, students, I always tell them, my job is to help you practice English, especially on YouTube with my videos. Teachers, my job is to help you help your students practice English. Right? That's my goal. Not to change your classroom activities. On the contrary, as I said before, in the classroom, I teach with a communicative approach, and I do some grammar explanation. I do a little bit of everything. I think, like you, it's not my objective to change this. Of course, we can always improve this. The idea is how can our communicative activities succeed when students have more English in their head ready to go, okay? And that's the practice. That's the practice. So, you always see this word with me. We talked about this yesterday, so we can go pretty quickly, right? This idea that learning English, and this is my idea. It's similar to other models. It's not exactly, you could agree or disagree. It's not a fact, but I like to look at learning English, distinguishing between these three, right? Practice or practice? Is this practice probably? Or is that performance, right? So I think I mentioned in the 10 minutes yesterday, we can make an analogy to music. And I think students really appreciate analogies like this. Sports, right? Any skill. And now, one thing I hear a lot of people at the summit talking about, in Benin, there's still this very old approach to English translation, studying, not enough communication. This is a problem everywhere in the world. Okay, it's not just Benin, in almost every country. This is still a very big problem. But why? It's because for years and years and years, the idea of learning a language was like studying a subject, not to go use it tomorrow. So, so we have to understand it takes time to change this idea. It takes time. It takes time because it's, hundreds, even maybe thousands in some cultures, years of this idea. So, I make another analogy with computer science and using a computer, right? The way we thought about English before was like computer science, not going to use computer for practical purpose. So we need to change, and it's changing, but I think it's useful to think about this, that it's a new, so very basic analogies with skills, cooking, dancing, even yesterday crossing the street in Benin with all of the motorcycles, someone from Benin is like, right? Thinking about anything, thinking about what they're going to do tomorrow, right? Yeah. While they cross the street. Me, I'm like, because I don't have enough practice. It's the repetition. It's any skill. So you automatically know what's next. No? That's a really important idea, that you automatically know what's next. When you think about fluency, what is fluency? It's kind of this idea. So, what do music and language have in common? What do you think? Maybe it's not a good question, because sometimes people say music is language, and even language, so maybe it's not an easy question for melody, good, absolutely.
Mouth.
The mouth, it's oral, sure, yeah.
Harmony.
Harmony, and this one? Rhythm, okay. But when we're thinking about this idea I just said, I think it's the most important, right? They both unfold over time, means with multiple listenings. After you hear it again and again, or the expression in language again and again, then you know what comes next. This to me is fluency. It's the ability to keep it going, right? Either you keep going in your listening fluency, you continue to understand because you know what's next. You can also talk about top-down knowledge, right? You have more experience here to lock into what you hear or you read. So you can be more fluent when you read, more fluent when you speak and listen and read. So, I use hip-hop music. I'm not Michael Jackson, I'm not Adele. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit what I do at the end today. This is my YouTube channel. Maybe you can see how my motto, relax, repeat, remember, relates to this idea of practice, not thinking so much about it. A song, usually we don't think I have to remember the song, right? We just relax, and with the repetition we can remember we are the children, it's me, right? So now I want to talk about rhyme and rhythm in English language teaching. How does rhyme help us learn a language? Did rhyme help you learn French or Fon or Yoruba?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
For me in English, yes. Why? How? Yes.
More interesting.
More interesting. Yeah. There's something more interesting about when sounds match. Yes? Anything else about rhyme? How about neurologically? Do you know anything about this? It's fascinating.
It's easy to interact.
Yeah. Yeah. But why? I mean, we don't have to look at neurology, but basically what's happening, right? Right? Basically it's this. Right? Our brains like patterns. We like a pattern. And a rhyme is a pattern. Goes together, right? It's that expectancy again. Knowing it's coming, it's next. It's easier for the brain to encode this and to keep it in memory. And if you're interested in physiology and neurology, you can look at this. There's some very interesting research. But actually, there are also a lot of mysteries though. So you can read it, but then it stops. Like, scientists are not exactly sure how this happens, but right, the brain, the neurons are able to keep it longer when you have rhyme. And this one, you said, someone said harmony. Now, it makes sense if you just say it sounds good, because the brain likes things that feel good, right? If something is easier to remember, then it feels good. Then you do it more. It's just biological, right? It's just adaptation, you know? It's like this fruit tastes good, it's healthy. This fruit tastes bad, it's poisonous, right? Good, bad, it's when you go explore beneath good, bad, it's usually because of it's good for your brain, your body. So the brain likes to learn quickly, remember more. That's why we say it sounds good, right? The patterns. And this is my most favorite. English, as we know, is notorious for letters that have many sounds and sounds that have different spellings of letters, right? Both ways, right? So, for me, this is absolutely crucial. Because, for example, if I say, how do you say this word? S-O. So. N-O. G-O. D-O. Very different from most languages. So I have a whole workshop on this. But just an example, in English, we don't say, you know, hi, how are you doing? We say, hi, how are you doing? We don't say, it is really nice to meet you. Right? We say, it's really nice to meet you.
It's really nice to meet you.
And I call this shrinking and linking, or in French, what do they say? Manger les mots, or manger les syllabes, or something. Right? Voilà, c'est ça, c'est ça. The nice thing, I'll do this more in my workshop, so please come to the next workshop. But the nice thing about songs, again, is if you show the rhythm, because I show the rhythm in my songs, then they read and listen, then this is automatic also. You don't have to give lessons about stress, where to put it, right? It's also automatic. Also automatic. By the way, in Paris, as an American, I'm always noticing when American people speak French, if they don't have enough practice, they'll come up, you know, excusez-moi, je cherche le métro, comment allez-vous, right? So it works both ways,
Yes.
you know. Yeah. Or, you know, or, did you enjoy the movie? Yes, it was fantastic. Excuse me? The movie was fantastic. Oh, it was fantastic. Now, the next question about motivation, I mean, we talked about how it's easier to remember, you feel good, the rhyme and rhythm help. This is, I think, the most important things we already discussed. The reasons that they help promote English learning are the reasons why they motivate students. But there are other things about music, no? What else? Other things that are important. Videos, but I mean, also, yeah, good, but I mean, what else about music motivates students? What else? What other reasons are there for why students like music? Yes? Emotional. Exactly. Fun. It's
Entertainment.
it's entertainment. Yes, that's really important because you know it's like when you give a baby like some vegetable they don't like, and you put something sweet on it. We don't need to do this we can just do, if you have a good curriculum with music for practice. Again, I don't mean change your activities, I mean just for the practice. It doesn't have to be this is studying or not. It can be this is entertaining, we're enjoying it, and then everything is inside. You don't have to conceal and hide and try to force them to enjoy it. Right? So, definitely, emotions, right? We got that. Emotions, right? It's social. We want to share it. This is important because you can see with your particular group, and they can help choose music. You know what's cool, what do they like. The one reason I love rap music is you can use rap with any music. Right? I can make a rap with with zouk, with reggae, rock, rap style from every country. Every country has a different rap style. Anything. And of course, this is what we just talked about before. Good. So, if you don't have a base, right? If you don't have a foundation to put this on top, what happens? I see it all the time. I don't know if you have this experience or not. I see teachers with great lesson plans, an activity that is here, getting more deep into something, right? But the students can't speak. They can't do the activity because they don't have the grammar and vocabulary here to succeed in the activity. And then what happens? If they don't have this and they try to do this, they feel stressed or they feel bored, right? Or they're distracted, or they think, I can't do English, it's too difficult, right? It happens to everybody. So that's why I focus so much on this area. Not because I want to stay in this area, but because I believe very strongly that to get here, you first need this. It's not only in English, of course, mathematics, right? If you don't know multiplication quickly, automatically, you can't do higher math. Because you're going to stop and think 9 times 6, right? But that's the same with irregular verbs, no? If you stop in an activity here to check a dictionary for basic English, right? Or try to translate, or you're thinking like, eat, right? It's the same. It's the same for every subject, I think. So, we talked about this yesterday. I really like this idea, because and again, this is not just English, and you can give examples outside of English, and students can give you examples, I think. So if they're practicing a dance for some show, or they're doing drama and they have to remember words, their lines for the play, for the production, it's the same, right? They repeat the dance moves, they repeat the lines for the drama, they get more accurate. Meaning they can remember it more accurately, they can say it more accurately, then they feel good, they have that confidence, and then they can go do it. So if we are trying to push our students to speak, stop maybe and think about this. It might be because they're shy, it might be because they are ashamed, but it also, very possibly, quite probably, is because they don't have the English right here that they can just automatically use fluently. So, practice makes
Progress.
you remember? Good question. I'm just going to say, practice makes perfect. I like this expression, if the idea is progress towards perfection.
Okay.
But the problem I have with practice makes perfect is I think sometimes students feel stressed. I can't be perfect, and we don't want them to think it has to be perfect, because the mistakes are also part of the development of the correct forms, right? So I like this idea, right? And especially progress towards the using, right? Is another way to think about it. The link to using. So, what do we naturally like to repeat? Alors Delphine, ici Alain?
No.
Probably not. Now some students, maybe you know a student like this. Some students like flashcards. Right? Some students will make a flashcard and repeat something. Some students in my French class listen to all of those conversations many times. And they remembered French. So you have to consider individual students and preferences, and in your English club what is something everybody likes, or if you have the chance to assign different roles to different people depending. But what do most people naturally like to repeat? Songs. Okay, songs. If we like a song, we don't think, oh, this is great, I'm not going to listen again, or I'll listen next week. It's never like this. If you like a movie, do you watch the movie again immediately? No. Usually not. A book? You might read the same book, but not for a few years, right? This is important. A magazine article? 10 times? Only if the teacher told you to read it 10 times. But a song, and remember, a song is also lyrics, which means reading. Don't forget, this is reading. Okay? That is something that we will repeat naturally. I think three things in general we repeat: songs, games. So if you have a song and you connect a game with the language in the song, youngest or old, if you're shy, or bold, follow fluency and see, stick with me and you'll see. We keep it hot, never cold, now make it loud. I'm proud of my family around the world. I can never be without this. Across the globe we're spreading wide. Don't you know we look through having fun? You ought to try this soon. You'll learn quick. If studying English makes you sick, sing along to this song to be strong. Relax and repeat, it won't take long. Now say fresh. Ready? Fresh. Everybody say fresh really loud. Come on. Fresh. Yeah. Now say ho. Oh. Say yeah. Yeah. Narrow-minded people make us feel small. When they're mean, stand tall. More than good you. And you're great. Keep it real. Not fake. Don't be late. Get your rhymes on time. They fast. To the top you climb. And don't feel sad. Or bad. Try hard. You'll go far. So at times of course your mood will get dark. Yes, just nurture your heart so it grows large. To be smart will accelerate your pace, but being kind makes the world a better place. That's true. Yeah. And everybody say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some of you may say this style is weird. But to study these words will get you near. So you go up your English sounding clear. But you'll get close. Each and every time you hear this, it's stressful when our brains are full. That's rough. And learning's tough. The bright, keep it light. So just sit back and relax, but hold on tight. Yes, enjoy it, you'll learn more. This is true. And you knew this, cause this is nothing new. But it's fresh. Yeah, come let me guide you through it. With fluency and C, the 3 R's will make you fluent. Say fresh. Ready? Fresh. Everybody say fresh. Really loud. Come on. Fresh. Yeah. I say yeah. Yeah. I say yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now scream like this. Come on, scream. Now say, that was fresh. That was fresh. That was fresh. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we are here today to provide you an overview of service learning, which integrates community service. As you can see, it integrates community service into course curriculum through explicit learning objectives, preparation, and critical reflection. Reflection means that when you finish the service, you come back to the classroom and you reflect on what you learned. So for this workshop, you will learn how to design a service learning course. We have just 1 hour. I'm not sure it will be enough to design a course, but we can start and then we will continue at home. So then we can provide students with structured opportunities to apply what they are learning in the classroom to community identify concerns in real context. So it's bringing learning into context. That's very important, to bring learning into context. So this is a definition. Service learning is a structured learning experience that combines community service with explicit learning objective, preparation, and reflection. If I'm too fast, you can stop me and ask me to go slow, and then you can take notes and all that. I'm too fast. Sorry for that. If you want to take notes, yes, just I will slow down for you to take note. Service learning is a form of experiential education that is developed, implemented, and evaluated in collaboration with the community. So if you want to do service learning, you need the involvement of the community. This is very important. It's at that level you establish partnership with the community. In schools, in the US, they have community partners in the school. I'm not sure that we have that in our schools here in Benin. Do you know about partners of your school in the community? Who has that in the classroom?
Some years back, when I was teaching students of CZM, I was then an advisor with them. But I had a CZM, and was it a CZM or a CZM? We had to learn about hospital. Was it that year? Okay, it is some years back. So I organized, I had some connection with the hospital, and we went there. It was not very far. We went there. We learned about, I had a vocabulary lesson with them, but before everything started, we cleaned the place. We cleaned the place, we had cleaners to do the job. We went with brooms, we put the place tidy before we started learning. And when we stepped into a doctor's office, okay, this is a surgeon, this one, and they introduced us, we learned some vocabulary, mainly vocabulary.
This is very good. This is what I would like you to share with others so that you can start and continue practicing. Service learning is different from other forms of experiential education because there are many ways of teaching. Because service learning offers a balance between service and learning objective. I said this. And places an emphasis on reciprocal learning. You learn from the community, and the community also learns from you. This is what it means. It increases an understanding of the context in which clinical and service work occur. So you understand more the context in which you work. It focuses on the development of civic skills. This is something we have to emphasize on when we are teaching students. They are not skillful. It addresses community identified concern and involve community in the service learning design and implementation. Just to reinforce what I said before. How can you use service learning in your classroom? Share your phone with your neighbors. I would like you quickly just table, you share with your friend. You can take one topic and you share with your friend what you can do to apply what you have learned so far. Just quickly share with your friend on your table, please. With your friend on your table.
When they want to have sexual intercourse and not to go far, okay, not to practice it. Thank you very much. Thank you for this comment. It's very good and important, okay? I like your participation. So, service learning benefits for students. It's very important to increase your students' understanding of a past topic. So when they are dealing with a topic, by doing service learning, they understand more the topic. This is very important. They get hands-on experience about the topic. And what is hands-on? You work. So, you know what we call the learning style, student learning style. Some students learn by touching, some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, and all this. And you explore or cement your value and the benefits of community engagements. Community engagement, the community is engaged. Students have opportunities to act on the values and benefits of community engagements. Students develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So this is very important. There is an issue in the community. The students they develop critical thinking. How can we fix? How can we contribute to fixing the issue? Right? And then students they grow their understanding of diverse culture and community. The community, when they go to the community, there are stereotypes in the community. So the students, they understand more instead of judging from the outside their perception. This is what students can benefit. Students learn more about social issues and their root causes.
Wants the dishes. She also prepared food for her success. After the dinner, then it will be time for sunset. She also liked medicine, and every day she learned better. Today, Happy has been invited to perform salsa lesson in a concert in Washington, D.C. And before starting, she will take a cup of tea and
Wow, okay, thank you. We clap. I am learning, and I make the point of learning all their names. Because, as I shared, community is such a strong motivation. And I've heard someone say, or I've heard it said, that the sweetest thing anyone hears is their own name. The sweetest thing anyone hears is their own name. So I make a point of learning everyone's name because it helps to create a community, to know that each person is listened to and valued. And from that, you can share and develop as a club. So again, thank you all. And so, we have done 2 truths and a lie. The more they can connect to learning English. And it's important to create that or to allow that where you teach, where you speak. It will happen no matter what. And if you don't recognize that, it will encumber, it will inhibit you. And so using that natural flow can improve your flow in your class. So, let's see. We have a little bit more time. What we're going to do? We're not going to do that. So, I had planned to show you internet resources you can find online for your English clubs. However, the internet, well, I wanted to work with the internet, but the internet did not want to work with me. And so, this opens us to a new opportunity that I'm very much excited about. Okay, first, is everyone able to read, able to see this? So I will first say, my handwriting is not very good. And so I apologize for the handwriting, and I will make it as large as I can for you. So, the three I have, the two truths and the lie I have. Within these three, number one, I have met President Obama. Number two, I have surfed in Spain in December. Number three, I have a dog. I have a pet dog named Meatball. So, I would like to ask, who would like to say the lie in those three?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you do, please share your name, your club, and read the whole sentence for me. Okay? So let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I'm familiar with you already, so I'll say Captain Ali, yes? Please share.
I thank God for allowing me to say Rasul is very recently.
That is not a lie. That's,
Give the answer away.
what's that? Okay, so, that's true. I visited a friend in December, and he took me surfing. It wasn't good. I surfed badly. I barely stood on the board long enough before a wave.
Your life here is number one.
That one is
I have met President Obama.
very good. Thank you. And let's all clap for those who participated. That is true. That is true. That is not a lie. I was fortunate to win a scholarship to visit President Obama at the White House. So, the lie is I have a pet dog named Meatball.
My name is Ilario Pepper. I'm currently the high school principal.
that's as well. I'm really exposed. So that's as well. I got the opportunity to the US Embassy to study in the US School Administration, Planning and Policy. Okay. Can you hear me? Yes. No microphone? No microphone. So I specialize myself in school administration, planning and policy. I've trained in the University of the US. I came back in 2015. Yeah, like my job, I like teaching. I'm really happy when I'm in the school and when I'm with teachers. So I'm glad to be with you today. What is service learning? Have you heard about service learning before? Have you heard about it in your life? Yes. Who heard about it? Okay. Can you tell us briefly what you know about service learning?
What I know about service learning is using community activity, okay, for teaching purposes.
Very good. You want to add something?
Service learning activity, we can use this with a student by doing what? We identify some community activities such as cleaning sensitizing on given point, so and give a student to carry this activity, to use the carry this activity, and when they come back, they have feedback, and you know them to speak about what they have done.
Schools and communities in Benin. You have partnership like that in Benin. Not really. Schools in the US, they have community partners. This university can be in partnership with, let's say, Subebra or Sunafra, if it still exists. Or companies like that, they have partnership with the schools. And then the students they go to this partners' workplace to serve. Right? By doing this, they respond to the community needs, community concerns. That's what we call community concerns. Right? And then this is to balance the balance between serving and learning. Right? This enhances the curriculum by extending learning beyond the classroom. Extended learning beyond the classroom. How many of you have already brought the student out of the classroom for learning purposes? Have you done it? Have you tried this? It's not in our curriculum. Oh, it's not in our curriculum. Okay, you've done it. Can you share with us?
Okay. I carried such an 25 years ago. That is in Bande, especially in the village of Pira. I worked with a team of students. What was the activity about? I observed during this period that during that period of time, many people were suffering from hypertension and diabetes. So we work on the team with my students to go and communicate with the parents about what are the causes of the disease. How can we help them to solve the problem? In the beginning, the students were elected. So how are they going to teach their parents? How are they going to explain them to the parents? But at last, when they go, the outcome was very, very satisfying. They go, and before they went to the community, we elaborate some questions and how to help them, how to explain things for them, and how they are going to consume some food, especially fatty foods, sugary food, and how they can change their lifestyle. They go eat on the bread. They use chat, not in English, not in French. They discuss directly with the people. When they come back, I discuss with them, and about their experience, how they feel, and what they learn in classes, how they can also use this experience they have to impact the community. That was my experience.
Very good. There's a lot of experience.
We read about the mini book. The book talks about keeping the environment clean from plastic bags. So what we did is after the reading, we gave students kind of a task. They will go home and count how many plastic bags end up in the trash can every day. So during this process, we come to understand that even the neighborhood, their neighborhood, become a topic for discussion, even at home. We make them to understand, so we are, some of them come and say that the 50 plastic bags end up in their home day. So I think it's also a part of taking the classroom work out of the classroom.
So they go to the community and clean the community?
No, they go to the homes, neighborhoods. Let's say in a building, there might be like a 3 tenants. They have to check how many plastic bags enter into the house each day. So they have to go and start counting the dust, how many plastic bags enter into the trash can. Sorry? Yes.
So they just
they write it down. When they come, they talk about it in English.
But if you encourage them to help the community get rid of plastic bags, then you are doing service, you are serving the community.
Actually, we did that because the first day they find that happening that end up in their home. Then how are they going to reduce it? So like after 2 weeks, some of them are okay, we are always, we are now using only 3 a day, something like that.
How to apply what they have learned to real world situation. That's very important. Service learning is significantly different from other forms of experiential education, but this is experiential. You learn by doing experience. Because it offers a balance between service and learning objectives. It places an emphasis on reciprocal learning. You learn from the community, and the community learns from you. Right? It increases an understanding of the context in which clinical and service work occurs. The student understands more the community. It focuses on the development of civic skills, civic engagement. The students are more engaged in the community. So this is what we call civic engagement. It addresses community identified concerns. You go to the community to address specific issues. And then it involves community in the service learning, design and implementation. You involve the community. To sum up, if I would like you to list the participants in the service learning, what are you going to say? To make a list of participants in service learning. This way. Yes? Teacher? Students? Community? Yes, sir. Now, coming back to our class. My homework.
So what did I say? Do you think? What did I say automatically? I said, oh, you're doing your homework. And what did she say? I'm doing my homework. And what's happening? That's the practice. Right? have this opportunity usually, right? To have this native speaker situation for practicing. This is why repetition through songs, stories, games, poems is so important. It's not a question of knowing a rule and studying. For example, in English we say have a party. For example, it's your friend's birthday, you're going to have a party for your friend. En français on dit avoir une fête pour quelqu'un. It's fair. So is it possible that you or your student could make this mistake? Let's make a party. Yes? How about in English we say participate in an event. Take part in an event. In French, participate too. Is it possible you could make this mistake? Or your student, right? Is it something to study? I don't think so. I think it's something to repeat so your brain automatically knows, right? Verb, noun, collocation. Right? Verb, preposition, collocation. The collocation is the chunk of language, right? Make goals or do goals? Words that occur together with high frequency, and in this sense, it's similar to rhythm and rhyme for the brain. It's a chunk. Remember chunking? The rhythm, the same pattern, repeats. Our brain likes this to encode information. Rhymes go together. We expect that rhyme. Our brain likes this to encode information. And remember, collocation is same. We like the words together as a chunk. That's how we remember them best. For me, I had the experience with collocations where I wanted to learn the African continent, the geography, because I married a woman from Benin, as you know. And you didn't know? No. Oh, I tell some people, I don't tell other people. I didn't tell this group. My wife is Beninoise, she's Beninese. We've been married for 20 years. We have 2 children. So I visited Benin before I started working here. The first time I worked here with Binti was in August. And it's been a wonderful, very recent but very strong relationship. And because this country is important to me, my father-in-law lives in Parakou, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law live in Cotonou. Why only 2 children? Oh my God. For me, 2 is a lot. Yeah. But yeah, that's a cultural difference maybe. Anyway, it's too late now. It takes full time. Anyway, for me it was very frustrating that I could not remember. You know, I saw in the newspaper something about Sierra Leone or Zambia or Mozambique, and I couldn't really imagine quickly where the countries were on the map. I was always going back to the map. And that's because I was doing a studying approach, not practice approach. And I realized, because I was teaching collocations, I'm going to get you this in a moment. I knew collocations were important. I realized, Porto Novo, Benin, or Antananarivo, Madagascar. These are collocations, right? Have a party, do homework, Antananarivo, Madagascar. They go together. You don't stop and think which one. If you have enough practice, it's just together. So I made a song, and I also want to talk about this because I would love you to check this song. We don't have time for this one. On my YouTube channel, I have a song called Africa 54. Do you know why it's called 54? 54 countries. You can argue about this, but it's not so important. Some people, Western Sahara, Morocco, okay, but anyway, 54 with South Sudan. Actually, I wrote the song before that. It was called Africa 53. I had to change the song for Juba, South Sudan. I just want to introduce the song, and then, if you're curious, you can watch the video. It goes like this. We begin our journey on the coast of North Africa, Rabat, Morocco, and Algiers, Algeria, to east, to Tunis, Tunisia. Tunisia, then south down the coast to Tripoli, Libya, continuing along the Mediterranean, to Cairo, Egypt, near the Red Sea, then down the Nile. We traveled for a while to Khartoum, Sudan, and Juba, South Sudan, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Mogadishu, Somalia, Djibouti, now all of you up north to the smaller Eritrea. Listen and read to Bill Spark. I guarantee you that by having fun, by the time that you're done, you know that African countries and capitals every day. I didn't really realize how important repetition was and relaxation, being relaxed and repeating, until one day in my class in New York, I had a student who was very shy, or I'm not sure now, shy, ashamed, we talked about this problem, or not enough English. But she didn't talk, didn't speak. Until one day, I don't know exactly what I said, but I said something like, I always, and she said, Coca-Cola. Suddenly, this student, who never spoke, in a very excited way, with fluent, accurate speech, said, Coca-Cola. So, I had many reactions at the same time. First, I was like, oh my God, she spoke. Right? So, yes, that's it. But what is she talking about? And then I noticed the other students are laughing, but not in a bad way. Like they understand. Like, oh, in a good way. But I didn't understand. And then 1 second later, it hit me. Do you know what it was? At that time, the slogan for the Coca-Cola company, on television, on billboards, on the bus, was always Coca-Cola. Yeah, the song was always Coca-Cola. Do you understand what happened? Yeah. This student, with almost no English, she had this collocation, always Coca-Cola. Right? Remember the expectancy of what comes next. It's a rhyme, it's rhythm, or it's a vocabulary collocation. She saw and heard this so many times, not studying, right? Just on the bus, watching television, that subconsciously, right? She was practicing and remembering this. Now I was very happy, yet there was a problem. Is always Coca-Cola a very functional collocation for my students? Can she go to the bank and use always Coca-Cola? Can she go to take the TOEFL exam? Always Coca-Cola. So, this was a student who did not know always on time, always love you, right? What else? Always happy, always pretty, always ready. You are telling me these things also because you heard them so many times. You are not thinking, right? I told my students, I started to test this. I said just good, but this is not, you have to remember this is 10 years ago. And think about advertising. I said just, my students said, do it. Thank you. It's not so common today, but at that time, everywhere, just do it. Just do it, just do it, just do it. My students did not know just a moment. Now, just do it is useful, but it's not as useful as just a moment. That's much more functional. Or just looking at a map with him of the United States. This is New York. This is California. Like this. This student, pointed at Kentucky, the state, and he said, Kentucky Fried Chicken. You understand? Just like always Coca-Cola. He was happy, confident, Kentucky Fried Chicken. But this is the feeling when you know a collocation. It's a good feeling. You know it goes together. The problem again, not so useful to know Kentucky Fried Chicken, but now we don't say this, we say KFC. So, You know, if we're talking about sentence grammar, complicated clauses, you know, embedded phrases and clauses, then yes, it's not so simple as this. But when we're talking about word grammar, collocations, vocabulary, it's really this. It's not translating, it's not explanations, it's just, right? And it goes in stages. It goes like this. Oh, we should make a party for our friends. And you said, oh, have a party. Oh, have a party. The next stage is what? We should make a party, I mean have a party. Right? Self-correction. How can you self-correct? Because you hear it's wrong. It sounds strange, not because of a rule. Right? This is true gerunds and infinitives, countable, uncountable nouns, phrasal verbs, all of these things are like this. But we need this. And we have to be this. So, this is a classic example. Students say, you know, I can never remember which preposition. To, in, on. But the point is you don't separate them. You don't separate the collocation and then try to put it back. You learn it as a joke. You don't learn listen and then which preposition. You learn listen to music. Listen to music. But in French, Spanish, right? Good. So, I have a song to practice collocations with what? What do you think? Have. Like have a party. The song is called You Have It In You. You have it in you. You have it in you. Now what does this mean in English? If my friend is feeling depressed or anxious about a test or something and I say, no, you have it in you. It means you're ready, you can do it. Just do it. Yeah, you can do it. I like this expression because you can ask your students to tell you to discuss in groups. What is this? But what is it? Because I think there are many possibilities. Yes. For example, it could be, well yes, the grammar of it, that's good. I like this guy. But that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking more, you have it in you. What is in you? You have the knowledge in you. You have the power. You have the passion? The past. Possibility. No? I'm saying something else. Capacity. Sorry, capacity. You know why? It's my American English, because we say capacity. And you're saying capacity, like British. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You have the capacity, the ability, the energy, the talent, the motivation, right? So many things. So I made this song because the song has this message. It has this message, but also, of course, the repetition with have. Notice, in French, a mistake often is a weather. Right? Un bon temps, right? A good weather. Do we say that in English? Have is uncountable. Uncountable. How about this? Is this j'ai froid, avoir froid? This is humide. So, but if you try to explain be cold, have a cold, and try to explain, it's very confusing. But if you just repeat, I do have a cold, right? Many times, the brain remembers this. Then you do am cold, she is cold, right? You're not explaining, you're not translating, you're just giving them those repetitions, right? So let's try me and then you. Have a party, have fun, have a cold, have a problem. Have a party, have a fun, have a cold, have a problem. Have good weather, have a get together. Have good weather, have a get together. Have a test, have trouble, have friends, have plans. Have a test, have trouble, have friends, have plans. Have a good time. Have a good time, you have it in you. Have a good time, you have it in you. what I want to do, one moment, I want to, well, let me leave this up here. I told you in the middle, I want to switch to writing songs. But I want you to ask any question you have now about allocations. If you have a question, go to the beach, go park, go on a date, go eat, go party, go celebrate, go out and play, go straight away, go today, don't be afraid to go your own way, go on a journey, go out there, go anywhere, go take a closer look, go on an adventure, go by the book, go wild, go explore, go where no one else has ever gone before, go slow, go for yours, and go for more. Go ahead and do it, and go do it, ready, go, got around, girl, this is how it's going down. You and CNC, dropping parties worldwide, don't you know, here we go, let the flow be your guide, ready, go, got around, you this it up, this is how it's going down. You and CNC, dropping parties worldwide, don't you know, here we go, let the flow be your guide. I say, hey, ho, I say, let's go. Here we go. Say hey ho, let's go. Here we go. Hey ho, let's go. Here we go. Check it out. Go to Great Lakes and go in style. Go head to head. Go the extra mile. Go outside. Go on. Go for a run, a walk, or a ride. Go and have some fun. You're good to go. So build and grow. All systems are go. Go for what you know. Easy come, easy go. So just go with the flow. Go non-stop. Go to the top. Go uptown, downtown, overseas, all around. Go to swim, go to hike, go for what you like. The best way to go is go hard and go long. And you won't go wrong. Stay strong. Go beyond to the next level. Go through it, then go out of your way. Don't settle. Go to back to the mat, but don't go to the extreme. Go all the way and go after your dreams. Say ready, go. Come in here, gather around. Tune in, listen up. This is how it's going down. You can see and see when they hear my worldwide. Don't you know? Here we go. Let the flow be your guide. Come on, hey, ho. Everybody say, here we go. Here we go. Say, here we go. Here we go. Call me soon. I go vibe when you drive. Never mind. I'm right here beside you. I'll guide you to the middle. Go in your head. Go choose the place. Go in your heart instead. Go, shoot the stars. Go top speed. See you go to the lead. There are people in need. So be a go-getter. A little goes a long way to make the world better. Just go through the bushes. Who make you go blind? Tell the people around you go through hard times. Go along the line. You'll be going places. Go through the right phases. Just circle the bases. The basis is a real life goes around. Poets, don't ever let them shut you down. Develop consistent. Oh, persistent. Go for the goal. And you'll go the distance. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we need to stop here. Quick questions, anybody? Questions? Yes, please.
When we are good, we just go.
I'm good to go. Yeah. Without rapping? You mean gestures? What do you mean?
For example, you say, keep it up.
Yeah.
If I say, keep it up, say that.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep going. Keep it up. But look, hey, if you ever look, I told you my many reasons why I use rap music. One reason I did not tell you is because I don't sing well. You understand? Like I can't, but maybe you sing or you have a student who sings.
Yes.
They could do go all in, again, go, right? You can sing this song. No? You don't have to rap this song. You can sing this song. You can just use it as a story, right? A poem. Go all in from the get-go. Go all out. Go toe-to-toe. Go for broke. Go down. Right? Go and see. Go down. Go check it out. So there are many things. You can make it a melody. You can change the music. You can just make it a story. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Me? No. I'm a professional teacher. I mean, for me, I'm very lucky because I only want to write songs that are really for him. But I'm trying to write like this song. I think I'm getting more experience. I'm writing songs that teach English but are also more real. Like, you know, someone who doesn't, like a native speaker, might say, oh, that's kind of good. Even though they don't need it to learn English. But that's thinking. I mean, it's also important if you have adolescents. They need to think it's a good song. If they think, oh, this is just to learn English, this is stupid. It doesn't work.
I just wanted to create a rough story. When beginning,
We are being identified as a leading organization in the sub-region. The organization Dr. Lamato is representing here will be in Abuja in August. And this organization, everybody cannot go. They say, okay, which country can best represent the organization in Abuja? Abuja event is a continental event, but the regional body, thank you, the regional body want to be part of it. They say, okay, take Benin is the best to represent the organization in Abuja. Because the CBD has dynamic culture. And last time in Ethiopia, we talked about the English workshop of Mr. Satengo Miguel. They was like, oh, we have to learn from this experience. But before we let Miguel go outside, we think that we have to benefit from his skills. That's why we invited him to present on the BECS, to share his social media skills, how to manage trainings and events on social media, specifically on WhatsApp. The English workshop WhatsApp group embodies, I only say dozens, but I'll say hundreds of teachers. Not only from Benin, but also from outside. And people I know are dying to learn from this experience. And BT is working to raise funds to make sure that the league can go out and share this experience with people. And again, this will be something great for Benin. This gives more visibility to the country. It tells the world what the country can do. But mainly the teachers of English from Benin. So this is why it's very important for us to stick together. BT is ready to promote any skill from inside. There's somebody who asked me in Ethiopia, does any sleep at all? I said, I know. I'm in Benin, but I don't know whether he sleeps or not. Maybe when he goes next time, he's going to tell them whether he sleeps. I don't know if he told you during his presentation. Did you tell him? I don't know. I wasn't about. It's just to say he's very active. And he's been very active on talking about BT. Promoting BT. Adding people to BT group, WhatsApp group. So when we have such commitments, we see people who are willing to do something, we are ready to promote them. And having a presentation experience, a public speaking experience, not only locally, but going to the international level,
it's not because you pay 5,000 every year, but because you are doing something that reveals your skills, your capacity.
And you need them, which is every time you pick up a pen, and start speaking. So you can do this, teacher or English club teacher, right? You can either hear on paper or you can write. Yeah? And they can copy. So if you have electricity or not, and you have a computer or not, it's possible. Right? You don't need the music. You can just, right? It's that rhythm, they need to see it, they need to hear it, and feel it. This is going to help very, very much. Not only their listening skills and their pronunciation, but it will be easier to remember when they follow the rhythm. It's also about remembering. Remember yesterday? We talked about how the rhythm helps us to remember. Good. So then, do you see the pattern? Yeah. Put it down, pick it up, take it off, put it on, turn it on, right? And every time, there's this. And every time you do this, you do a little bit more. Listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you need them.
Listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you need them.
Which is every time you pick up a pen or start speaking.
Which is every time you pick up a pen or start speaking.
And when you get to the last part of the song, you can do it together, right? Everybody. Listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you need them, which is every time you pick up a pen or start speaking. Start speaking! Let's do it. We only have 5 minutes. Let's do turn it on. Try to do a little bit with me through the CMC. Let's go. Yeah. Can I get some rhythm like this? Maybe like this?
Everybody stand up.
Like this? Yeah, come on. Let's go, Parakou. Look. Take it out, put it down. Ah, yeah. These verbs are only hard when you study them. Listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you need them. Which is every time you pick up a pen or start speaking. Start speaking. Yeah, everybody. Down, up, down, up. Put it up, pick it up. Put it down, pick it up. Yeah, do it, and the verse will soon stick. Stuck, my friend. Listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you need them. Which is every time you pick up a pen or yeah. You go. Take it, put it on, take it off, put it on, and use these words. You need to practice on it now and then. Listen, watch, repeat, and you can when you need it. Which is every time you pick up a pen or start speaking. Yeah. On. Everybody, come on. Turning. Learn these verbs and you'll be happy in the end. Please listen, watch, repeat, and you can use them when you I met my friend at a restaurant. We ate, we talked, told stories and laughed. At noon we paid the bill and I walked to a bar that wasn't far away. I was listening to music and enjoying the day. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. I was feeling fun. I wasn't worried about anything. While I was waiting at a corner, I bent down to tie my shoe. Someone asked me for directions. I didn't have a clue. I'd never been in an area. I hadn't gone until the day. My friend had recently moved and had been living there since May. Before that, he was standing at his parents' place. He basically been doing a whole lot of nothing until his mother kicked him out. They'll still help him, no doubt, but he'll work harder to succeed. He's gonna stay focused and take care of his needs. It's not gonna be easy. He's gonna struggle. It'll take time, but things will change right away. In the end, he'll be fine. Next week, he's coming over. We're having dinner and watching a movie. He's bringing his girlfriend who has a business degree. Beginning next month, she'll be working at a company downtown, and in the near future, she'll be getting her own business off the ground. They'll have gotten married by then. They will have been saving up money for several years when they have children. At least that's what he says, and to me it makes sense. But every journey through life is unpredictable and intense. Okay, cool.
life is simple, or if it tends to tip day by day, rocking my spirit. Okay, DJ, let's go. Okay. Now, one more.
For a few years, they say we are not giving money to two different organizations. There's one national organization that we acknowledge. And to support any local organization, it has to be through BECS. This is a step. If you don't have somebody's trust, I mean, you have a lot of problems. And we working with the support of inspectors to also earn the trust of the government. We don't need money from the government. We know that they don't have enough. But still, it's very important because for many teachers to travel down here, especially with the current government, teachers are afraid to leave their schools. Some will say, is there any letter from the ministry? That's it. We had to get the person contact the ministry. We ourselves, we already took some steps with Advisor Chewu. We went to the ministry, but we could not go to the end. So yes.
I have a testimony.
A testimony.
Okay.
Of course.
3 minutes, maybe. Yes. I took some risk to be here, and I have to explain why. Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting the protocol. So I'm Captain Ali, as you know, right? I'm not a member of BNT. I didn't know about BNT last week, actually. I know Mr. Dafulu because one of my colleagues, he told me about his activities. And this microphone is heavy because my teacher from high school used it a few weeks ago. And the strange thing about Mr. Sessi is even my teacher, let's say 18 years ago, and he's one of the men who inspired me when it comes to English. And when I was coming here in the bus, somewhere around 7, I received a call from an unknown number. It was him. In 16 years, we only talked, we only met twice. He has my number, but I didn't register it on that phone. And I was surprised. He said, oh, it's Mr. Sessi. He said, how can you call me while I'm going to Benin English Summit? It doesn't make sense to me. I was surprised. And then the next day I was surprised to see him among the audience. The best way for me to describe my relationship with English is it's like a long affair. My wife does not understand why I have to be in Parakou. She doesn't understand why I have to be. Yesterday was the birthday of one of my boys. I have no regret. Officially, I'm not authorized to be here. For my boss, you can see me hiding for the picture and the video. For my boss, the Chief of Defense Staff, his aide de camp has to solve a problem in his family at Parakou. So I have only seen my mom, last night. I had to stop. We've been busy here. I had to stop to see her. My older brother is around. He's the director of the Institute of Parakou. He's not an English teacher, but he can support BNT. He wants to meet people, keep contact.
Doing the social media work. He's not a teacher of English, but he applied. He has an English problem, but he was not selected. He said, okay, fine. I have something that I can offer. I want to attend the event not as a participant, but to share my skills. Is community manager, is to promote the event on social media. And he has been doing it so well. Much more than what we expected, because thanks to that, the embassy has been able to follow the event on social media. And the embassy called and said, wow. That's why I was saying that they made a prayer that next year they will have another fund again for another BECS. So just because of the skill this guy brought, he's not an English teacher. Maybe a lover of English language, but any skill. You can be a farmer. On the next BECS, if you know you can provide crops to feed the participants, you are welcome as a member of the The most important is to contribute to the growth of the organization, to the achievement of our goals. And we thank anybody who is ready to back us up. But the advantage, the outcome is big. We want our teachers, our colleagues to get scholarships. You have dreams. You have professional and educational dreams. But you don't have the money for your dreams. There's many scholarships available. Plenty. For everybody. When you meet the requirements. And today, like I said, people play more in groups, in organizations. And those scholarships today, they are English teacher targeted scholarships from institutions like the ITEFL, which is a global body of teachers of English based in the UK, International English Teacher Association based in the UK. We have TISRO International. They are all part of our partners. They say we have those opportunities available. And like they are checking the policy. They say for easy access, because we trust you as an organization, if you bring out somebody who can benefit from this scholarship, there's no much protocol. Just a few formalities and the person will get the scholarship. So we are affiliated to those organizations that have opened their doors of opportunities for our members. There are many of the trainings. But again, to start from, where is your BECS membership? Because as if you are not a member of BECS, you probably have to pay more. But as a member of BECS, you pay less, or sometimes not. So, you can, as a PhD student, have the opportunity to attend conferences that will contribute to your paper. Write articles. If you belong to BECS, you can have access to many things. I'm not going to be longer, but again, I would like to thank our elders, inspectors, teaching advisors, who are making steps to support. Do you think there is anything special that he is going to get from us? Mr. Joe, can you have a few minutes, just 1 or 2 minutes? Thank you. When a few years ago he decided to be part of it. Yes, of course.
Any question to answer?
Yes. As a teaching advisor,
yes.
Why do you think it necessary not only to back BECS, but to be part of the association?
You see, the inspector a few minutes ago before BT, there was TEFLA. And many of our teachers were part of that association. But at the birth of BT, people did not believe in BT. They did not believe. But for an association to grow, it needs or it takes dynamism and self-sacrifice. And that's what I saw with my younger brothers. And as a teaching advisor, they came to me and they said, we need you guys to back us up because we're doing something good and it will be good for teachers. The first hindrances before were about how to apply what they learn through BT activities into classes. Because teachers have to get their own curriculum, they have the syllabus, they have a program to finish. But when they discover new ways through BT's trainings, they don't know how to reinvest all that. And they say, how can you help us, you and the inspectors and the DP? It used to be called the Inspection Pédagogique. How can you help us? And we started talking with those people. And I'm very hopeful that inspectors and members of DP will join us. I'm very hopeful. You see, BT is step by step, moving forward, complete national recognition. And the government knows us. The government knows us. And I spoke with Inspector Ajasa 2 days ago. I was here when he called me. And I said, I am at the summit. BT Summit in Parakou. And his reaction was very telling. He said, you and your president were in our office and you promised to come back. How come you did not come back? We could have been with you. You see? You see? So, it is interesting to see and to notice that these people are ready to help. And teachers, hadn't it been, should I talk about that shutdown? Hadn't it been that shutdown, that American Trump shutdown, many teachers could have received officially their authorization to come here and join us, because we worked for that. But unfortunately, because of the shutdown, you can notice that the embassy could not be here. It was, it has been one of, have we been unlucky? Anyway, you have been there, and your active participation is very encouraging. And BT is not an issue or an association for any talented or any expert. It is an association for teachers and for people who are looking for the promotion.
Bon, je dirais que M. Thieu, le conseiller Thieu, le CP Thieu, l'aide Thieu a tout dit. Le directeur Thieu a tout dit. Au nom de l'Association nationale des professeurs d'anglais, je voudrais remercier tout le monde, à commencer par nos excellents orateurs, qui, au-delà de leurs préoccupations diverses, ont accepté
consacré 3 jours, même plus de leur temps pour venir, pas entretenir, mais partager leur savoir avec nos brillants participants qui sont venus de tous les coins du Bénin. Et je voudrais les remercier pour la disponibilité parce que laisser ces activités, abandonner ces cours pour venir ici, ce n'est pas du tout facile. Je voudrais remercier les responsables, les autorités politico-administratives qui ont accepté, autorisé ces collègues, professeurs d'anglais, des établissements publics, mais aussi d'autres institutions, à venir participer à 3 jours de formation, de renforcement des capacités dans la gestion, dans la création et la gestion des clubs d'anglais. Je voudrais saluer ici la présence de Dr Kambieni de l'université de l'université de Parakou, qui lui aussi a dû sacrifier beaucoup de choses pour être ici. Bienvenue Dr Kambieni. Je salue aussi la présence de l'inspecteur Ceci, qui, pour l'amour qu'il a pour la langue, malgré, je ne dirais pas qu'il est vieux, mais il est encore très jeune, mais il a dit il faut qu'il soit ici. Il n'a pas été informé, mais officiellement, mais dès qu'il a appris, il a dit il faut qu'il soit ici. Inspecteur Ceci, bonne arrivée. Merci beaucoup. Je salue aussi la présence à nos côtés de Dr Lamachon. Dr Lamachon est le président sortant de l'Association nationale des professeurs d'anglais qui ne ménage aucun effort pour être à nos côtés et nous soutenir dans nos actions. Je pense qu'on continue de bénéficier de son soutien d'une manière ou d'une autre à différents niveaux. Merci Dr Lamachon. Dr Lamachon représente ici aussi la Fédération des associations des professeurs d'anglais de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. À travers le Dr Lamachon en est le vice-président. Et grâce à votre dynamisme, grâce à tout ce que vous faites et surtout grâce à tout ce que vous avez fait pendant les 3 jours, le Bénin a marqué un point sur le plan régional, mais aussi sur le plan continental. Et bientôt, nous serons à Abuja pour une rencontre continentale où le Bénin va représenter cette fédération ouest-africaine, où le Bénin va aussi marquer une différence parce que là, le Bénin vient de montrer à travers les différentes activités, mais aussi à travers notre manière de communiquer, parce que nous avons été présents sur les réseaux sociaux, nous avons utilisé la technologie à fond. Le monde a vu tout ce qui s'est passé pendant les 3 jours. Ils ont dit, le Bénin, vous êtes très merveilleux. Donc, je voudrais remercier tous les hommes et toutes les femmes qui ont œuvré à la réussite de cet événement, à commencer par les participants eux-mêmes. Merci beaucoup, chers participants.
They all learn languages, and it's because of English that they are there, and they are doing what they are doing nowadays. They are gaining from it. They have many opportunities, and they are happy to be today with you, just to help you, and to help me to master that language. And I'm so proud of that. So my friends, do your best. Yes, to learn language. Vamos a cantar el tema en español para decir lo mejor para el mundo. Si el tiempo debemos hacer comprender varias lenguas, mi amigo. Amigas, amigos, vamos a hacer lo más importante para comprender más lenguas en este mundo.